15th check, the bus company has urged commuters to find alternative transport. Our colleague Mbali is on that story this morning and will be going through to her any moment soon. Consumers are finding it hard to get by with the high cost of goods and services. The price of food and other essentials has gone up, and taxi fares are also expected to increase in some areas. A survey has found that the cost of living has significantly increased, especially since the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. Last month, the 350 Rand social relief grant came to an end, adding to the woes of the poor who were dependent on this monthly cash supplement for food and transport.
So the effects of COVID-19 are without a doubt going to be felt for a very long time. The economic victims, plenty. From food increases, petrol and taxi fare hikes, forcing people to stretch a little deeper into their pockets that already have close to nothing. Dumi Mateis is among the millions feeling that pinch. He has to provide for his siblings, and the daily plate of pap and stew that he sells in the Johannesburg CBD for just 35 Rand is no longer sufficient to make ends meet. There is simply no profit.
You see this bag of the meat, I used to buy maybe this bag, maybe I was used to spend maybe 500. But now I spend 500, but the meat is too small. I can't even get the profit from this bag. You see this bag, how big it is. I can't even get the profit. Since after this COVID, you know what, things are more expensive. But you buy in the grocery, but which means you take out your money from the pocket, but at the end you don't get even a cent. Even you see this at 19 kg. I used to buy this 19 kg before maybe 2019. I used to spend maybe close to 280. But now I'm spending roughly maybe 390, which means it's a lot. And on top of that, I'm selling the food, but I don't get any profit. You see, which means it's a lose. Yeah.
Dumi says government's decision to suspend the 350 Rand social relief of distress grant has worsened the problem, which human rights organization Black Sash says ripped through the safety net of millions. It says it will continue to lobby government for a basic income support grant.
Government is failing to provide for its people in terms of its constitutional obligation, because where you don't have income support, the Constitution says that the government is obligated to provide financial support for those who cannot find. And although we have a social assistance framework in place, it doesn't cater for unemployed, because despite people being able-bodied, wanting to work, there are just no jobs.
A survey conducted by gig technology company M4Jam among its temporary and short-term workers has found that the cost of living for South Africans has become an issue.
97% of people felt that the cost of living has increased, 97%. So we have seen that the main areas that are impacted in people's lives, where they feel that the increase has been felt the most, is in food and in transport, which is obviously the essentials that people need to live. And after that, there's things like utilities, which is electricity, water, phone, internet. All of those essentials that people need to live are increasing on a day-to-day basis, and yet we're seeing that their incomes are decreasing. So people are definitely feeling squeezed and feeling pushed at this moment, and it's largely due to the pandemic and the pressures that it's put on retail as well as people's wallets.
Compounding a possible taxi fare hike, while some provinces may not be affected.
The attitude that the national leadership always takes is that the percentages should not be high to the point that commuters cannot afford them. We have got what we call a taxi fare index, which is a model through which we determine the impact of our operational costs, and as such, able to determine how the fare should be increases. And this would look into taxi rank fees, that would look into installments, the subscription that operators pay, and all those costs then determine the average at which we are able to make such increases. But if you look at the past 3 years, you would realize that the average increase has really been between 15 and 25%. So I'm not saying that that is going to be the case, but we will see when the leadership finally decides in June what these percentages would be.
At least one economist says the situation is more dire than at face value.
We have always known that the loss of livelihoods, the people that are unemployed, that are retrenched, will probably be 10 times more than those people that have been killed by the virus. Absolute numbers, we lost about 3.2 million jobs. We've added about 80,000 jobs. I'm rounding off the figures. We then talk about creating another 80,000 job opportunities in 3 years. So net-net, we have actually lost 2.2 million jobs. You multiply that by 5 people that are dependent on a single breadwinner. Now you understand why 10 million people are unemployed.
Meaning, there is no cushioning for people like Tumi, and hope is dwindling in the daily struggle